TurnNYRed.com. But here's the story. I saw Christopher, or I became aware of Christopher's idea via Twitter, and I just immediately, just instinctually was like, okay, we got to make that a story. We got to get that on InfoWars. We got to blow this up because it's so important. You know, the left has all these events and activism events, and they use that as part of their false narrative, like, oh, they're the majority, they're in charge, they're popular, you don't even exist. Well, it's time for conservatives to push back a little bit in that culture war, in that optical war of local politics. So this is what you've decided to do. What has the response been like so far locally, nationally, and just more of any more details you can give about this event coming up, Christopher Wright, coming up in New York?
First and foremost, Owen Shroyer, just thank you for the opportunity. I love InfoWars, man. I've been following you guys for years. I've been following you for a long time as well, so I thank you for the opportunity to get my voice heard. But let me just tell you a little, you know, it's been a process, man, because I just started doing videos here in New York about a little over a year ago, and I got a lot of attention, people reaching out to me. So I, you know, started this group called the CRA, the Conservative Republican Alliance. Been getting people together, and I got a pretty good group of people now, over 700 people, mostly local people in the area who are conservatives in the group now. So I said, you know what? You know, the election's coming from 2020. No better time than if I can get a rally going, let's do it. So I said March 29th on Brooklyn Bridge, we're going to meet up at City Hall at 2 p.m. It's going to be from 2 to 5. And I said, let's get out there and get our voices heard. And I've been getting an amazing response so far. A lot of people are reaching out to me. A lot of people asking me, hey, man, how can I, you know, get involved? What can I do to help out? And, you know, it's just been an amazing local response. I've been hearing from people all across the country reaching out to me from Arizona to Wisconsin, everywhere you can think of, just saying, hey, man, we're glad to see what you're doing. We're supporting you, Chris. Get out there and get your voice heard and, you know, help turn the city red.
Is that your website there, guys? Pull that back up. You know, I've always loved New York City. I don't know if I could live there. But, man, I love – look at that backdrop, man. Look at that beautiful scenery. I've always been enamored, for whatever reason, I've always been enamored by downtown skylines. And when it comes to the skyline competition, I mean, New York City is obviously up there with the best. I mean, it's almost impossible to compete. It's so immense. Very cool website. There it is right there. And also Christopher Wright. Wright with a W, NYC.com, ChristopherWright.NYC.com on Twitter, at Chris Wright in NY, at CRA New York State. This is just some of the information where you can follow. And so, obviously, when you schedule stuff like this, or maybe you can talk about wearing a Trump hat in New York City, actually, you get a lot of love. It has been my experience, more love than hate. Obviously, you get a mixed bag. But do you think that this is something in New York City that can catch on?
Yeah, I think so. At first, when I first started doing my videos, I was just trying to get my voice heard, but I got a lot of attention. I got people in my comment section of my YouTube videos from the Bronx, Brooklyn, Manhattan, Staten Island, and they're like, hey, man, I thought that was only conservative about here. I can't believe there's another guy out here doing this, man. Hey, man, what can I do, man? How can I be a part of what you're doing? And that's what made me want to start the CRA, because I had so much people responding to me for my videos that I'm like, there's a lot of people out here in New York, man, that are conservatives, but their voices aren't getting heard. And so, of course, if you're in the outside, you know, an outside state looking in, you're going to be looking at like New York, like there's no Republicans anywhere in New York City. But once I started doing videos, there's a lot of Republicans out here, man. They're just afraid to come out and get their voices heard because, you know, they're afraid of the backlash they're going to get. And unfortunately, especially with the folks in Manhattan working, they have the cancel culture going on. So if they find out that you know, are a big supporter and you're online and your boss sees you, there's a good chance you can lose your job. So a lot of people are afraid to lose their career just by supporting the president of the United States.
You know, talk about that. What is the deal? Because this is so un-American to have people suffering in their personal lives, their professional lives because of their politics. America's always disagreed on politics. Hell, politicians used to shoot each other to death sometimes.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden it's like, but yeah, now all of a sudden it's like this snowflake culture. I mean, talk about that experience in New York.
Oh man, it's crazy here in New York, man. And it's like I said, the snowflake culture isn't crazy because, you know, Antifa's out here like crazy. I've been running Antifa twice since I've been doing videos. And if you guys look at my YouTube channel, you'll see a video where I actually run into Antifa by myself. And the police end up pushing me into Antifa, and I walk through them, and I just stay calm the entire time. and say, hey, it's all love. Hey, look at this, you know, and they're calling me a fascist. They're calling me a black Nazi, all kinds of crazy stuff. So, you know, they are out here.
Oh my
and the left,
gosh.
you know, yeah, you can see it here. Yeah, and I had to put the camera around right there to show people, hey, this is the person they're calling a fascist.
Wait a second. Why are they even coming after you? They just recognized you from your videos?
They recognized me from my videos. One guy pointed me out. I was just recording them totally quietly, didn't say nothing.
Because I was going to say, at least I don't see you. You're not wearing a Trump hat or a hoodie or anything.
Nope. And at that time, I had to take off my work shirt because I didn't want them to see my work shirt because I was, you know, wearing them.
Oh my gosh.
And then I, you know, had came, saw, conquered. Let that be known because I wasn't backing down from anybody.
Oh my gosh, this is amazing. This is amazing. All right, we're going to be right back with more from Christopher Wright. Let's play that footage. Look, these people are like, oh, you know, I love black people. And then as soon as a black person goes against their political ideology, they attack them. Literally. It's unbelievable. Christopher Wright is with us. Christopher Wright in New York, the YouTube broadcast. Christopher Wright in New York on Twitter. He's organized CRA in New York at CRA New York State. On Twitter as well. For more website, Christopher Wright with a W, NYC.com. Chris, you were talking about an experience you had. I didn't even know this. I brought you on because of the event you're organizing coming up on March 29th, trying to organize Trump supporters, conservative patriots in New York just to get your voices heard and to organize. But you're so popular now, I guess, locally in New York. People recognize you. And so it looks like, explain what's happening in this video. But you get recognized on the street, but it appears like you weren't even planning on talking to these people. You weren't even planning on doing a political video, nothing. You just run into these anti-fascists on the streets and they come after you. They recognize you. Tell us what happened.
Okay. Well, I was at Trump Tower. It was, I believe, a Saturday. And I was leaving Trump Tower. You see, I was in my work shirt and everything. I didn't think none of it. Just went and had a taco bowl at Trump Tower, shot the Trump. And when I was leaving, I saw the whole group of like these anti-fascist like people walking down the sidewalk. So I said, you know what? Let me, you know, I do my walk and talks where I'm on the street all the time. So I said, let me do a video right here. So I get my phone out and I just start recording. And if you see me recording, I don't say anything. I just record them totally silently. And while I'm recording them, about 40 seconds in of me recording them, one guy yells out, "That's Christopher Wright. He's a fascist. He's a Nazi fascist." And as soon as he says that, you see him start hitting the alarms, start hitting the buzzers. You see me walking here now. This is where you see the guy with the Pakistani flag.
Folks, the sign literally says United Against Racism. The implication, like they're standing up for black people, for people that aren't watching and just listening, Christopher's black.
Yeah. That's why I had to put the camera, because people that might have been watching, they might be like, who the heck are they talking to? I want them to see me real quick. So I put the camera and said, this is the guy they're talking about, this fascist Nazi. And then I flipped it back to them again and let people, you know, back to where I was. And then you see there's one guy that was a black guy in the whole group. He comes after me, he gets in my face, and he starts threatening me. And he's like, I know where you live. I see you up, down, the road I used to live on. And he was saying, I'm watching you. And I just say, hey, man, keep watching. I don't care. Keep watching. Hoping, because the fact that he knew my street, that means he watches quite a bit. So I just told him, keep watching, because I hope he learned something. And but right before that happened, if you guys watch it, when I get this part right here, you see me get shoved. Who shoves me right there is the police officer, because there's police walking with Antifa. So one of the police officers shoved me into Antifa. And once he does that, I'm just like, well, okay, I'm here now. I got to do what I got to do. So I just start walking through Antifa. And that's when I get the threats coming at me. They're calling me Nazis. They're banging on symbols. They got alarms. They're shooting off and everything like that at me, all kinds of crazy stuff. And I just stay calm the entire time, because I don't want anybody watching the video saying, well, he was being threatening, or he was, they were just fighting back and against fascism. I was totally quiet the whole time. I was totally being reasonable the whole time, very calm. And they were the ones being aggressors the entire time in the whole entire video. So I want the public to see that. Well,
and that's why it's so key to record these exchanges. I mean, sometimes it seems trivial or mundane, or you don't want to get your camera out or whatever, but like, hey, you may get your assaulter on video. You may get a video that exposes who these people really are. I mean, what rationale do they have, though, to come out here, claim they're fighting racism? They're not fighting any racism. It's just some buzzword. What is this rationale that they have where I guess they assume because you're black, you should be anti-Trump and vote Democrat? But then once you don't want to do that, they tell you, oh, how dare you? You're a Nazi. You're a fascist. You're this. I mean, that is the most pure form of racism I've ever seen. Hey, you have to think this because of your skin color. Oh, you don't think that? Well, then screw you.
And see, that's so funny that you said it, because that's why I made sure I got their sign that they're holding up, because I saw, you see all this anti-racism, anti-fascism, all that stuff. And I know how they are. So I said, you know what? I'm going to make sure I get this very clear, because I said, there's a good possibility somebody's going to recognize me and it's going to be a scene. So I just wanted to be totally silent, get the sign, let everybody see it. And then once they came and were the aggressors, I said, hey, who's the one who's wrong here? Who's the fascist? Who's the racist? Who's the bigot? Who's the, who's this, terrorist activity? Who's the one participating in this, me or them? I'm by myself, just walking down the street. He's left Trump Tower on the weekend, and there's people. You see, this is Manhattan on the weekend. There's people, families out there. It was a normal day. And so it's, this could be anybody who got into a situation, who happens to be a minority, who had to be a Trump supporter. Could have been in the same situation that I was in. But luckily with me, I have a YouTube channel, I have a voice, so I'm able to have some kind of, once I get attacked, I can show people, hey, look, this is, where you can go to reach out to me. But if I was by myself with no phone or no camera, I would have been screwed.
Yeah, guys, go check out his YouTube channel where he does his streams, all of his videos. Guys, put that back on screen. Chris,
and please do.
Chris
and
Wright in New York.
You guys remember hearing about that incident a while back that happened with the Proud Boys, where in Manhattan? Where
yeah, the ones that they got arrested after they got assaulted. They literally got assaulted. Yes,
I was the one who recorded that.
So you were a witness to the whole thing.
I was a witness to the whole thing.
Is that not another example of left-wing activism on a bench?
Yeah, it was. It was. They were literally. It was Gavin McInnes came to. I'm a member of the Metropolitan Republican Club. Shout out to Metropolitan Republican Club and the New York Young Republican Club. But I'm a member at the club, so I went there to see Gavin speak. I was hoping to get an interview with him after he was done speaking, because I want to get all voices on my YouTube channel. Democrat, right, people on the right, the left, anywhere. If you got a voice and you're political, I'm going to, let you can come speak. I'm open to everybody. So I was hoping to get an interview with them, but eventually when the end of the night came, they held us back and said, all young men stay back. And we were like, what the heck? And when they finally let us out of the club, the whole block was covered with Antifa. And they were chanting at us, Nazi scum, Nazi scum. And I had the video on my YouTube channel, but I took it off because to this day, I'm not monetized. I got over almost 16,000 subscribers. They will not monetize my YouTube channel because of this. And so I took my camera out and I recorded it, and I recorded the whole incident to show everybody what was going on. And then BuzzFeed took my video the next morning. They took my video and they cut me out of it and said a white supremacist group attacked innocent anti-fascists in Manhattan. And then so people started reaching out to me like, Chris, oh my gosh, they're trying to say that, we're a white supremacist group. You got to put your video out. So then I went on my YouTube channel, put it out, and it blew up, and I got a lot of attention. But it was just so much controversy. I didn't know what to do, because I'm like, I had to go to the courthouse and speak on behalf of the Proud Boys, because two of the guys got 4 years apiece for that incident. And it was, if you saw the fight, it was like I seen worse fights in middle school. And all these guys were defending themselves.
It's clearly political. And then again, it's just like, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but it's like, I can't figure it out. They claim they're against racism, but they lie about that. They want to make all these fictitious claims like, if you support Trump, you're a white supremacist. Literally, a black guy in a Trump hat is a white supremacist to these people. And then to continue with their false narrative against these Proud Boys, they cut you out of the story, even though you got the footage.
Yeah. And I wasn't even going to release it, because on my YouTube channel, if you watch my, I know God gave me the gift to give a voice on YouTube. So I don't curse in my videos. I don't, no violent talk, no nothing. I just, speak my message with no cursing and everything. And so that video, there were some cuss words and everything.
Well, look, I mean, we got 60 seconds here, so I want you to mention your event again. But it's like, I don't even need to ask you this. I already know the answer. It's like, where have you experienced more racism, from Antifa or from the Proud Boys? Every black person you ask will say Antifa, but we already know that. Talk about your event, how people can find information, how people can get involved. Okay.
If you guys want to reach out to me, my direct email is C as in Charlie, S as in Sam, my last name Wright, WRIGHT 410 @gmail.com. You can reach out to me there, and I'll respond back with directions and everything about the setup. It's going to be on the 29th. It's going to be my rally. It's going to be at the Brooklyn Bridge, and we're going to meet up at City Hall at 2 p.m. It's going to be from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. We're going to meet up at City Hall at 2. We're going to have some speeches from potential congressmen that are going to be an upcoming election here in New York. And then we're going to march on the bridge. And then we're going to come back and we're going to go to City Hall Park. So it's, you know, if you want to reach out to me, you can find me on Twitter at Chris Wright NNY. Same thing with Instagrams, Chris Wright NNY. Christopher Wright on Facebook. If you Google Christopher Wright, you'll see me pop up. My Facebook will pop up. My YouTube channel will pop up.
All right, folks in New York, it's time to support Christopher Wright and support yourself. Get out, get organized, get active in this event.